Goldeneye, the first video game I ever played. I was just 7 years old when my parents bought me a Nintendo 64 in the Christmas of 1998. With the console came Goldeneye. I had never before even held a controller. Never before was I even exposed to a video game. But like other little boys, I liked guns and I liked James Bond. This game started it all for me. It set me on the path. It led to Halo, to Gears of War, to Overwatch, to Doom Eternal, and to countless other shooter games. Now I have no doubt that my love for this game is clouded by the nostalgia of my childhood, at least to a degree. But let's be honest, this game is great. It's iconic for so many reasons. The guards and their block-like, almost disturbing faces, their various screams and yells as they die, and their detailed death animations, which can be hilarious. The vast variety of guns and weapons like the watch laser, taser, dual rocket launchers, double RCP-90s. I remember cycling through them all with the all guns cheat on took at least a minute. The developers put an extreme amount of effort into this game's minute details, like scientists pulling guns on you if you shoot them, guards randomly sneezing, the post-mission cutscene on Depot when you kill the guards on the train with whatever weapon you were holding, the in-game computer screens displaying the talking heads, Arumo's mysterious briefcase, and more. And the immense amount of cheat options. Cheats like DK mode, Tiny Bond, Paintball mode, and all guns skyrocketed the game's replay value, providing endless amounts of ways to go back and re-enjoy the missions. And how did you unlock these cheats? By speedrunning the missions. The developers had the foresight to build speedrunning directly into the game, setting you target times to hit and rewarding you with cheats if you succeeded. Considering where speedrunning is today, it was prophetic. The game also had its charm. Anyone who has played Goldeneye remembers the guards, notoriously stupid, getting stuck indoors, running around in circles aimlessly, or not being able to shoot you if you're point blank to them because their gun sticks through you. The extreme frame drops caused by explosions. These all add to the game's legendary status. The single-player missions vary widely, with settings including a weapons silo, underground bunkers, caverns, the Russian winter wilderness of surface, a moving train, a dash to a plane on a runway, and mowing down enemies in a tank in the streets of St. Petersburg. These lit up my 7-year-old imagination, even inspiring me to think of my own ideas for levels. I got so into these ideas that I wrote letters to Nintendo and Rare, detailing my levels in full, with faint hopes they'd create a new game based on what I'd come up with. I still haven't even brought up probably the two most iconic things about Goldeneye. The intense, industrial soundtrack with banger track after banger track. I mean, even as something as basic as the pause music is stuff of legend. I'm not sure if the game would have caught on quite as hard as it did if it had lesser music. And the other thing is obviously the multiplayer. Yes, I know it's mentioned in every discussion and article about this game, and it's almost a cliche at this point, but I have to bring it up. The chaotic atmosphere of 4 kids crowded around a small CRT TV, screen peeking and yelling at each other. It characterized the late 90s and early 2000s, a time when video games were first beginning to take hold, before the rise of the internet and predating the hyper-connected world we live in today. So in honor of the remaster, I wanted to rank my favorite missions of GoldenEye 007. Here are my top 5 levels with a few honorable mentions. I hope you enjoy. Coming in at number 5 is Bunker 1, possibly the stealthiest mission in the game. The beginning is probably the game's most unique intro, pitting you on a small catwalk with 2 options where to go, forward or backward. Forward is one of the game's hype moments. Open the door and a guard is immediately alerted to your presence and rushes for the alarm. Another takes aim at you and shoots. It's a fun part. Whichever way you end up taking, the rest of the level is spent sneaking around and destroying cameras and doing various objectives in the main control room. 00 Agent has you do an extra objective with Boris, possibly the most nerve-wracking part of the game. The level is small and short, but it plays well. Goldeneye excels in stealth, and this is one of the top missions for it. But the end of the mission shifts gears, forcing you to mad dash from the mainframe room to escape as Boris sets off the alarm and guards rush you. The soundtrack is one of the game's best, ominously building into an industrial groove. It fits perfectly with the level's stealth. Bunker 1 is short, but a guaranteed play every time I turn on the N64. Number 4 is Silo, GoldenEye's 6th mission. Right when you enter this level, you notice one thing, the soundtrack. This track is one of the best in the game, a certified banger. The level itself is basic. You move from room to room, dispatching guards, planting bombs, and collecting various keycards. A countdown is in play from the beginning, adding to the level's stress level and intensity. Silo is the first level in the game, maybe with an exception to Runway, that trades stealth for balls to the wall action. The level does not want you to take your time. It wants you to kill guards, do your objectives, and get out as quickly as possible. The level repeats throughout, with a main room with scientists and objectives followed by a series of hallways into the next big room. It's predictable, but in a good way, as it helps build the hype throughout. Silo is a beast, and has some of the highest replay value of any level. Aztec is the third best level in the game. This level is the first bonus level, and it quickly shows you the game is not any easier after Cradle. The beginning is a sick joke. You start off in this thin little crevice in the wall with barely any room. You poke out and are immediately blasted by 3 guards with assault rifles. It doesn't get any easier from there. Guards react faster and aim better the whole level. The mission is perfectly designed to put all your skills to the test. The level has a great look, balancing ancient vibes with a modern space station. This level has a boss fight with Jaws, and it's brutally tough. This dude is downright scary when he is charging at you with his dual assault rifles. He reacts quickly and has a ton of health. What sets this level apart is its design and its infamous difficulty, particularly with Jaws in what I call the final room of death, without a doubt the hardest phase of the entire game. The game cuts you zero slack here, with relentless drone guns, far-away laser guards that do extreme damage and hardly any room to maneuver. You're also randomly flanked by guards you swear you already killed. The level is highly stressful, but it made me feel like a total boss back in the day when I finally beat it. When I turn on Goldeneye today, it's one of my go-to levels. It helps me tell if I still have what it takes. Train is quite possibly the most hype level in the game. It's constant action. Like Silo, the level's layout is simple. Move from train car to train car, dispatch all enemies, and destroy the brakes along the way. The cars slowly change in layout and look, going from cargo cars to passenger cars before you reach your final destination. One thing that sets Train apart is its incredibly intense finale, another one of the game's most memorable parts. After you kill General Aramov, which is itself an extremely hype moment, you have to carefully use your watch laser on a small section of floor to escape the train. A countdown is active, and on Double Agent the game gives you barely enough time. You only have a few seconds between the objective completing and the train exploding. Once you exit the train, you have to make a mad dash toward the end. It's tough, and this killed me so many times when I was a kid. Train is a blast from start to finish. It's simple but high octane. The level builds well and gives you a sense that some sort of finale is approaching, and boy, is there one. Train has the highest replay value of any level in the game, except for my number 1. Facility is without a doubt the best level in Goldeneye 007. Did you really expect anything else? This level has it all. Moving through the vents and taking out the first guard with a headshot at the beginning was iconic, possibly being the most memorable part of the entire single player. The stealth in this level was peak. Sneaking around and quietly taking guards out with your silenced PP7 amounted to some of the game's most fun moments. Navigating your way through the level was awesome, trying to track down Dr. Doak, who gave you access to the bottling room, and your first meeting with 006. The level feels a lot bigger than other levels, as there are many different environments within it. The nostalgia still comes in full force every time I boot up this mission. I can still connect with my younger self, and I'm able to tap into my feelings at the time. Feelings of wonder, feelings of accomplishment from beating Dan and getting here. A strong desire to beat this level and get to the next level, whatever it may be. These were some of the best moments of my childhood. This is easily the game's best soundtrack as well, narrowly beating out Silo and Bunker 1. The song is dark and industrial, slowly building to an epic climax before coming back down and repeating. Facility is flawless and exemplifies peak Goldeneye. It's nostalgic, it's stealthy, it's impeccably designed, and it just so happens to have the best soundtrack of any level. This level is Goldeneye, and for whatever reason, evokes the strongest feeling of nostalgia. Well, there you have it, my top 5 levels of Goldeneye. It was hard making this list. I wanted to get a few other levels in the top 5, but it just wasn't meant to be. A few honorable mentions are the absolute classic Bunker 2, Frigate, my favorite level as a kid, and the wide open Surface 1. Goldeneye will always have a special place in my heart. Like I said earlier, this game started it all for me. It introduced me to video games and ignited my passion for shooters. I'm sure it played a similar role for many of you out there. If you grew up in the 90s and had an N64, you almost certainly played Goldeneye. And if you played Goldeneye, I guarantee you were inspired by it. Without it, I have no idea where I'd be today. Thanks for watching.